What's up, everybody? Hope my levels are tolerable. I've been fighting with this level thing for many years. Right now I've got it kind of playing loud so you can hear how cool this is. Macaroni with cremation. Yeah, this isn't gonna tell you shit, is it? Cremation. Originally released. Is it gonna fuck me? That's what she said. I don't know. Mid-90s. But can't jam this down your throat enough. This video, in case you're wondering why you clicked on it, why I did it, what I'm doing, what we're going on here. It's a reshoot. I did this once last weekend. Didn't go very well. I forgot a few things. The way I shoot with my phone sucked, and I'm trying out a new thing where USB might work. We'll see. Fingers crossed. So let's go, shall we? This is a response to a comment I got on my Patreon channel, where he was asked. We were talking about stabbing and extirpated mortal process. Really sick band. Don't miss out on it just because the young kiddies are. I don't know. I can't really speak to the popularity of this band. They are touring with Sanguis Sugarbog right now, but sometimes Sanguis Sugarbog kind of picks stuff that isn't. I don't know. They kind of do whatever they want. That tour is coming through town. Kind of want to go just because of how awesome this was, but since the recording of this one, they have a different drummer now. One of my favorite things about this is the drummer. And, I'm sure the guy is adequate, whatever. I haven't really checked out what the new drummer is like. I don't think they've recorded anything since, but I don't know. Thinking about it. Tickets are $32 though, so I don't know if I want to suffer through a bunch of Sanguis Sugarbog kiddies fucking football moshing their asses into my face just to see a band who used to have a drummer that I kind of like. So, anyways, the comment was asking if I had any other recommendations on stuff of this ilk that kind of borders on slam or brutal death metal, but isn't stupid or isn't annoyingly chunky or cheesy or gimmicky in a way. So I've picked out a couple of things to illustrate that, yes, I do have recommendations based on that impetus. So I do have quite a few. I don't want to blast through and spend a whole hour on this because, let's be honest, all this stuff is going to sound pretty much mostly the same. So as you peruse my choices, just pick what sounds interesting. I'm sure you're going to know some of this stuff already. But I thought this is something I have a valuable opinion on, so I better chime in. And I like to encourage anyone on my Patreon to ask me for recommendations. I'll shoot a video on it, and you're going to enjoy it. So a couple picks I do have down in my warehouse in the basement. I didn't pull them all out, but so you'll see some I have physically here. Some are bootlegs because you just can't have them. Some I'm just going to go, here you go. First on my list is a band that's you really can't get anything on a physical format of. They reformed in 2018, so maybe there's a possibility that the stuff is going to get back in print. It is on Bandcamp, but whatever. This one is awesome. This is the Inherent Perversion EP. This stuff is very crucial, really good. East Coast, maybe New York, maybe Mass, not sure. But while this stuff is good, you might be even more into the Destined to Fail full-length album, which I don't have in any way. Goes for $85 on Discogs now, so good luck with that. But it is great. It really sounds like came from the lineage of Suffocation with a little bit of that. So a lot of people theorize, I guess, in this kind of some people say that Slam was born of the song Liege of Inveracity by Suffocation. I think a lot of things might have been, and like to nail it down to that one song is like, I don't know, whatever maybe. But it certainly sounds like that world without being too crappy. Riffs are good. My bone to pick with so much of this genre is that it ticks off so many of the boxes, like brutal vocals, insanely fast, complex drumming and technicality of every player in the band. Just meaty, beefy, super slick production, all of it. It has so many awesome elements to it, a lot of it. But musically, the guitars are so dumbed down and devoid of actual riffs. It's always just like different rhythm variations on palm muted riffs. And like, people are acting like you can get a fuck ton of mileage out of that idea. And we've been proving that isn't really, I don't know. An argument could be made either way, because it's like kind of more popular than ever now. And now it's like merging with hardcore, and that's gross. Ew. But I really prefer the bands of this genre who actually go a little bit the extra mile and not only have like good riffs on the bass line, but there's room to even embellish upon that. There's soloing, there's extra harmonies. Have fucking 2 guitar players playing wild, crazy stuff on top of it. You're like limiting yourself by just having the fucking dumb beatdown palm mute riffs that so many of these bands have. So like right here I have stuff that isn't that. That's like my whole thing here. So Destined to Fail, Scatter Remains, don't miss it. Also, gonna try and keep this video short. I'm not doing very good good job of that so far. So I can put samples in here. So, right? Scatter Remnants, awesome. So the next choice I have for you. So a lot of guys are into, a lot of this stuff is getting revived, reissued on vinyl. Everybody's back into like Mortal Decay and fucking Rotting's Crushed and shit like that. And yeah, Rotting's Crushed has always just kind of been there. I think it has like way too many pinch harmonics. I think that's really like gross and cheesy. You know, like, I don't know, Trey Ezek though had a great way of like working that into a riff tastefully and not overdoing it too much. But a lot of these bands, they just beat the shit out of all their instruments and then pinch harmonic at the end of something for an accentuation of violence or something. And like, I think it's gimmicky. However, so Rotting's Crushed, I'm sure you've seen all over the place with this iconic picture of a guy smashed over a curb. I think that album's fine. It's kind of whatever. But there is a demo compilation put out by CDN Records. There's actually 2 versions of this. But this is worth picking up. A couple of the demos on here are really awesome. In fact, I kept trying to talk myself out of buying that thing because... but I just couldn't stop listening to those demos last year or so when I was kind of fishing around for stuff like that. So it's worth getting. It's cheap. Another band that is kind of getting picked up again, revived, Eternal Suffering. And like, they're not wrong. This stuff is really awesome. Remain Forever in Misery is the EP. So this is a boot I made. I tacked on can't remember what I tacked on here. It's either another demo or another EP. Never had an original of this, but my friend Wayne did send me a couple copies of the full length back in the day, just for fun. Still have that. It rules. The full length has been reissued, and I recommend the remaster of it. And I think it also has this on there as a bonus. So all that stuff kills. But these guys were like, I'm not sure exactly quite the timeline of how like the Massachusetts bands really brought the slamminess to the forefront. But there was a certain niche era where that micro genre and that moment in time was really good and wasn't cheesy. And a couple of bands were doing it, like Dehumanized fucking ruled at doing that. But yeah, Eternal Suffering, Remain Forever in Misery, or Drowning in Tragedy. Really, really good. You can't get really any Eternal Suffering stuff. It's not in print anymore. Although, actually, I did just pick up the album on LP, weirdly enough. But anyways, Eternal Suffering rules. Next is another band from Chicago. I can't remember if this has been reissued lately or not. Let's just say, yeah, probably. Deaden with Hymns for the Sick. Again, this kind of toes the line of being a little bit too over the edge for me, a little bit too simplistic. Not something I would like. I have my gripes about it. It's good. It's insanely brutal. It's just murderously fast and unrelenting. Guttural vocals just all the way. But there's just a couple of cheesy things about it, like pinch harmonic kind of stuff just kind of bugs me. The production on it is a little weak. I would like to maybe entertain a remaster of it. I have a copy of it down in the basement, actually. But another kind of iconic cover, kind of gross. Yeah. Another band that I don't really know what the public's like overall opinion or affection of this band is, but Sepsism, I don't know. Yeah, like I couldn't really speak to that, but they've got a couple of amazing full lengths under their belt. The one I really like and picked up a couple of years ago, Purulent Decomposition, is really, really, really sick. It's just got such a satisfying tone to it. The production on it is flawless. It is so good that I was just like, I don't need anything more from this band. I love this album. Rules. I'm going to spin this, periodically for the rest of my life. It is absolutely very deadly. But a friend of mine, John Glover, pointed out that the album that followed, To Prevail in Disgust, is also very, very, very sick. I gave it a cursory listen a couple of months ago. It is indeed awesome, but I just haven't really gotten around to fully diving into it. They have another full length that came out in 2009. Looks like it's rated well. Not familiar. Probably good. But the Purulent Decomposition album is just chef's kiss. Love it. I would be surprised if you missed it, but I think it's worth putting in here. Brodequin, the album that they did last year, Harbingers of Woe, is insanely good. But again, like, I love so many things about this, but I think there's a little bit of an opportunity here for the riffing to be a little bit more interesting, a little bit more creative. It's almost like it's embracing the tenets of the genre's limitations by saying, like, we are going to try and be creative and not break out of this mold, which it isn't really successful in that way. It's a great comeback album. There's a new drummer in the band. It's a great way to, like, remember how good the band was on their previous couple of full lengths. But again, I just feel like we could have riffs. Couldn't we? Couldn't we just like treat ourselves to some actual riffs? Yeah, the tone is great. I love a lot of things about it, but yeah. Another one, Infect with Modern Primitives. So this supposedly was supposed to be released on Relapse Records in 1994. And I think this was supposed to be the cover. Hard to imagine. Some of this album is on YouTube. I wound up tracking down a roommate of a former band member of this band, and he kind of gave me the scoop on it. And he hooked me up with the other half of the album. So I've got all 10 tracks here. I threw the demo on as a bonus. Great shit. Very, very New York style kind of stuff. Suffocation type stuff. Nothing too super original, just great vocals. Really well recorded. It's not like mind blowing or anything, but really, really glad to have discovered that. It's awesome. So an old band from New Jersey. They were called Ritual Torment. Had a couple of demos back in the day. Some association with Ripping Corpse. I'm not really like, what's his name? Eric Rattain, I think, was maybe in the band for a minute, supposedly. I don't know. But they kind of came back and they called themselves Gaffed. Gaffed. And they just put out a full length called I Can Feel Myself Rot. Which is probably why my back hurts so much today. But it is really, really good. It has riffs. I just will say I think it kind of has maybe a little bit too much of like a budget modern production to it. The drums are kind of plasticky. It's just a little... I guess it just kind of lives in this little box. This great little box of death metal. And I really, really, really love, and I'm getting to the point where I need my death metal to have some spaciousness and some vastness to the guitars and the drums. I like the instruments to sound really big and boomy and have a lot of girth to them. The size queen. So production is a little weak on that one, but the music is awesome. It's really awesome to hear guys from the 90s coming back, doing it again, and just like nailing it really, really well. It is on Bandcamp, but you can't buy it on Bandcamp. I don't understand why bands do this. It's like $1,000 for the demo or the download of it or whatever. So fuck that shit. Whatever. Next, one of my favorite albums of last year, Trog. Horrors Beyond. My pal Pete, also a metal YouTuber of the yesteryear, is in this band. They've been kind of like building up to getting to this point over the last couple of releases and years. And like this sounds like a well-rounded, well-honed band, just really doing a great job of it. It's murderous, it's splattery, it's kind of tongue-in-cheek, it's a little bit of fun kind of stuff here and there. I really, really enjoyed it. It's just super well-rounded, it's very self-aware, it's not stupid. Every riff is like actually a good riff. Really, really killer stuff. Okay, highlight of the video. When you asked if I could suggest things, the first thing that came to mind was Burial Enlightened with Pain. Murderously violent stuff. These guys were from New York, I believe. They just kind of fell through the cracks in a way, I think. People who know this album know that it's like absolutely crucial. But they wound up getting released on a label called Lost Disciple, which was primarily a black metal label, and I think they were from Germany. So kind of weird that it got like thrown onto that label and didn't really, I don't know. Not a successful move for the band, surprisingly, but the album itself is absolutely crushing. I would say take a lot of, honestly, it kind of reminds me of Despise the Sun era Suffocation. A little nastier, certainly not as like polished sounding, because that EP came out in like 98, 99 or so, right before they broke up. And this kind of harkens right around that like semi-modern style, but has kind of a more Effigy the Forgotten kind of sound to it. Just really nice. Also a lot of kind of Morbid Angelism kind of stylistic kind of things in there. Just riffs, absolutely godly riffs throughout the whole thing. Vocals are just absolutely neck-slicingly good. Love this release. I'm so happy that I found it a couple of years ago. I remember seeing the cover art in shops or magazines or whatever over the years and just being like, that is a horrible cover. Nobody's going to buy this. But now here I am. I bought 2 copies of it in the last couple of years. Couple more. I talked about this in a couple of videos ago, but Umbilical Strangulation. This is a compilation of a couple of demos on Doomed to Obscurity. That's how you do it. That tone is so good. Pick this up. Rules. Just standard issue death metal. What else do we got? Okay. It should go without saying, but Disgorge, Cranial Impalement, just absolutely rules. It's just, this is hilariously unrelenting. I love that about it so much, but I will use my standard gripe here. Riffs just kind of aren't really riffing for me on this album. Everything else about it I love. I cherish the album. I listen to it on a regular basis, mostly because the vocals are just ridiculously monotonous. Love it. It's a standard of the genre that must be owned. Couple more. Stench of the Deceased by Vile. Yes. I think this is New York's Vile, if I'm not mistaken. This just rules for so many reasons. I'm not going to pretend that this doesn't sound a whole lot like everything else in this whole stack here, but very good. Originally released in 96, I want to say. But great shit. And lastly, newer discovery. The boss man Simon hipped me to this one, Broken Torso. This is The Ultimate Abhorrence. That's right. Impossible to track down on CD. This is a fake, false bootleg. And I did actually pick up a reissue of the tape a couple years ago, but insanely heavy and brutal and violent. This is so good that I would be shocked that if somebody doesn't pick this up and reissue this in the next few years. But kind of a dumb cover, but it is so fucking crushing. I would say take maybe the kind of the audio dynamics of Suffocation in a way, but kind of give it like a Cryptopsy sort of like moldy, dry, kind of murderous, scathing kind of production quality to it. It's just really, really icky and gross and just kind of nauseating in a way. Love it. So choice picks there. I hope that satisfies you and gives you something to chew on. Gonna leave samples in here since I can do that on my Patreon. And yeah, check out Macaroni Cremation. Good stuff. If you're interested in some of this stuff, my boutique fan edition website link will be down below. Everything's $5, and you kind of have a little placeholder in your collection until something falls through. Because I was really, really, really tempted to spend a whole lot of money on this son of a bitch, and there's no need for that. Just don't need to be doing that. A lot of them are also FLAC rips, so you just get a perfect audio rip of that stuff. So we'll see you next time. Thanks for the question. As always, if you want to put a recommendation for a topic in anything, just let me know, and we'll see you around. Woohoo! That was a great video, and it was made possible mostly by me, but also thanks to the undying and kind support of my Patreon subscribers. Thank you all. I love you. If you are interested in being a part of my Patreon channel and supporting what I do, you are welcome to join at the URL below. It is only $6.66 per month, and you're going to love it. Thank you.